Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy. This is for episode 43. I was actually going to say this is Monday, but we're recording a day early because we're doing the Geekbox podcast on Monday instead of Tuesday, and so we're doing this on Sunday instead of Monday because we're doing a birthday party here at the store on Tuesday instead of the Geekbox. So that's what's happening. But this will come out Monday, so pretend like we recorded this on Monday. How you doing, Brock? Say hello.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, who are you?
I'm Brock Sager.
Hi, Toby. Say hello.
Hello.
Who are you?
I'm Toby.
Hello, Toby.
Hello, Toby. Who are you? I'm Toby.
You are so bad at the intros.
It's funny.
It's so bad.
I have been not talking to I've been talking to human beings, but human beings in a galaxy far, far away all day today. So I've not...
I thought you were healing people with your blaster.
I am shooting people to heal, to health.
In different contexts, I could sound like something else.
I'm shooting people to health in Star Wars: The Old Republic all day today, and have not talked to a human being since like 10 o'clock this morning. So pardon me if I'm a little rusty on that whole,
Communication.
Yeah. So we are going to record an episode of the Comic Conspiracy right now. Talk about some comic book stuff.
Yeah, if we can get out of the intro.
Yeah. This is some good stuff. I think we should start with some emails. When do you guys want to start? You got your email up? 1, 2, 3.
Do we have to paper, rock, scissors for it?
Yes, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
What? Were you serious? What is wrong with you? Okay. Brock.
I won after 3 times.
Yeah, that was pretty funny though. We're thinking the same things every time.
What beat rock? Nothing beats rock. 1, 2, 3. Rock. 1, 2, 3. Rock.
Dude, seriously, stop. It looks like you're jerking it.
Seinfeld. It's great. Nothing
After the
beats
comment
rock.
we made earlier.
Yeah.
I'm shooting on people.
Shooting people to health. That's what you do. So, okay, let's read an email. People don't know what I'm talking about.
All right, I got one. I've only recently started... Oh, should I say from who it's from?
That'll work.
You
You don't have to. It's fine.
It's from Ed1988 at Hotmail.
Great. don't give this guy poor email address away.
Spam.
No, I mean, what's his name? All right, let's call him Ed. 1988.
That works.
Fine.
Hello, Ed. All right, he wrote us an email going like this. I've only recently started listening to the Comic Conspiracy podcast. Good job, by the way. And I find the insight you give into the comic business very interesting, to say the least, and wanted to ask how, in your opinion, British comics or simply comics from outside of America fare across the pond. I never see mention of ongoing or recent comics from outside the U.S. like 2000 AD on any comic site or podcast, even though plenty of great creators have worked on the comic. Any occasional mentions just seem to be of old European comics such as Asterix and Tintin. Is this just a comic book world hating us for Mark Millar? That's it.
Yes, that's the answer to that. Yes, we hate 2000 AD because you guys invented Mark Millar. So no, 2000 AD. I think the thing with 2000 AD and a lot of the British anthologies, it's available here very, very infrequently. And when they do collections, it tends to be... Judge Dredd and a lot of the characters from 2000 AD never really had a lot of traction over here, despite horrible movies. And there's another movie coming out. There's another live-action Judge Dredd movie that actually looks pretty badass. But
I didn't even know.
Yeah, for whatever reason, those characters just never really hit in the U.S. the way...
Is there anything besides 2000 AD?
I mean, there have been plenty of other British anthologies. I have a handful of Warrior magazine that ran for a while in the 80s. Which was actually where V for Vendetta originally appeared in some of the Miracle Man stuff.
Oh, okay.
So there's like Blast. But those are older. I don't know what outside of 2000 AD there is now, but I'm sure there's some. I mean, there's got to be a few. But yeah, I don't know. That stuff just doesn't.
What's that independent comic book with all the chick covers, like the Rouge? The ones that you buy.
Oh, those are Brazilian or whatever they are. They're Brazilian or South American or something.
I thought Gigi was French, no?
It was?
I thought
they were all like either South American or Brazilian artists.
Well, Gigi Studios is a company. They're all animators.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
for some reason I thought they were French. But
oh, really? I thought they're all South American or Brazilian, one of the two.
You could be right.
Got the computer in front of you.
You're probably right, Toby. I don't know.
I know. I really don't know. I just like the art, and I haven't read a word of any of those books. I just love the art in all of them. Actually, really all of them. I like that Skeleton Man guy one. I like the Mulan whatever the one. Yeah, I like whatever it was.
Skeleton one and Mulan, whatever
It was. Yeah, I don't even know how to read the title, but it's fantastic art, though. I enjoy all the art in those. Haven't read it anymore.
I tried reading, was it Mediterranean?
Yeah, that's one of them.
I tried reading Mediterranean. I couldn't really get into the story.
I'm actually curious now.
The art is awesome in those books. But
yeah, their site is freaking all flashy and dumb. I can't even figure out where the hell this is terrible. This is the worst website ever. It doesn't.
You couldn't just Google it and look at the Wikipedia entry like every other normal human being.
The site just doesn't have text, so like forget that site. Yeah, but for the most part, a lot of the European graphic novels do get released over here. A lot of the humanoid stuff does. It's just kind of difficult.
Italy.
They're Italians?
Yeah.
It looks like Italian names. Rack, Scopetta, Plazi, McGovern.
It may just be different for each book. I mean,
it's quite possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about the names on that book over there? Just open it. It's usually on the first.
Yeah, Giuliano.
As you guys look,
Guglio,
the
Italian.
The issue with a lot of it is just getting translated. The issue with the 2000 AD stuff and a lot of the British stuff, I think, is just lack of knowledge of the characters. And when 2000 AD is up to issue like 2000 or 2500 or something ridiculous, it's been going on for a long time. I think there's, like American comics, there's a bit of a sticker shock or a number shock.
Italy.
It's just hard. Mm-hmm. Italy?
Sorry, yeah, okay. These are Italian, yeah. Or I don't know if they're actually come out in Italian first and they translate it, or if these are just meant to be English comics to begin with. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's maybe something we should look into.
I mean, did you like them on Facebook?
I don't know. I did. But I know that Italy actually has a pretty big comic book market going on, because a lot of the Disney I grew up reading in German were actually Italian ones that they translated over, and they have a lot of Disney stuff that's going on over there. The reason why we always bring up Asterix and Tintin is because I grew up with them. They were just available.
Yeah. Obviously, all the manga.
Yeah, I mean, I just grew up with those. That's why we keep bringing them up. I did have some off-ball comics I grew up with in Europe that never made it over here, which I don't think anybody ever knew about. I mean, there's a graphic novel that's about like AIDS and stuff that was really good, and that's for teenagers and stuff. That was really, really good book, but I don't think they ever translated it into English. There's a couple others that they're really off-ball, kind of more cartoony characters that never made it over here.
I know Dylan Dog was a long-running series. It may still be even coming out. I don't know, because I mean they had that movie based off it,
which is a horrible movie.
I
by the way,
see it.
The guys don't watch it. I rented it and hoping it was good. But yeah, Dylan Dog. But anything recent besides the GG, which could be just original English works.
Yeah,
even though it's from Italy.
I don't know. Well,
I mean, maybe this guy should write us back. Maybe there's some titles we're just overlooking. Maybe we just don't know.
Well, there's a lot of it. I mean, if Fantagraphics and Drawn and Quarterly, they release a lot of the European graphic novels that get printed over here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
there's even Canada. I mean, it's not the United States. Canada has a huge indie comic
But then
scene.
It's like, besides Judge Dredd, though, a lot of those are enclosed stories, aren't there? Like a graphic novel as a story, or maybe two of them or three of them, right? I think I remember buying some of those.
For 2000 AD specifically, I think the size is a bit of an issue.
Yeah, they're all big, right?
Yeah, it's not a standard US comic size. It's not a standard magazine size, so it's weird. It's a weird kind of oversized.
It sticks out like a sore thumb.
Well, I remember having problems to display them at the store I worked at before this. So it's like I don't know how to do it. So we had them on like a spinner because it's the only best place you could have them put multiples out at the same time. Yeah.
I mean, when they've reprinted the 2000 AD stuff, I stocked the trade paperbacks. I'll stock the graphic novels, and I've read a handful of the Judge Dredd stuff. I know Garth Ennis wrote a bunch of it, so I've read a few of those. They're pretty cool. I mean, it's years ago. I barely remember it. But yeah, I mean, there's cool stuff. Obviously, there's more than Judge Dredd, but he's just the big one.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's asking if there's anything that's making it. Maybe, like I said, maybe we either don't know or we don't know that we're reading outside of the pond stuff. So
sure.
Yeah, maybe you should give us some titles. But yeah, thanks.
All right, Brock. Get your email.
Yes, I got an email. It's touching on something from last week, but it's from Liquid from the forums. He says, what do you guys think of recap pages? I've heard people on other podcasts have heated opinions of them. Their argument was that they are a wasted page that could be used for more story. I think they can be helpful in keeping a story fresh in my mind when reading dozens of books each month. Also, character portraits and bios can be helpful for new and casual readers. Thoughts?
We talked about it last week, and I think he mentioned that on the forum too, right?
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about this last week, but to get a little more into it, we've brought up recap pages before. Personally, for myself, I think they are necessary. I think if they wanted to make the comics 22 pages, 20 pages a comic, one recap page, one sort of bio page, I would have no problem with that. I think it would be a huge help. Marvel's recap pages, they come and go. They don't always have them.
Yeah.
It seems like some books have them, but some books don't, so I'm not sure.
They don't count
Spider-Man's
towards the page
consistent.
count, though. I mean, was there argument that it counts towards the page? It doesn't, right?
Well,
I mean,
if
the comic
DC
is 22 pages no matter what, with the ads.
20 now.
Is it 20 now?
Well, it's 20
Plus the ads, right? Yeah.
If DC
but before it was 22 plus ads, right?
Right. If DC and Marvel were to make them 18 pages, then I wouldn't want it.
Yeah.
But if it was 20 pages plus a recap page plus like a
ads,
bio
right?
page, I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the recap page I think is extremely
I mean, personally,
necessary.
I kind of want the recap pages to the page one singular to maybe have some graphics in it, because Marvel a lot has you just read it. I kind of like it when it has a couple of panels maybe from the previous comics. I like.
Well, they could. Do you remember those 2-page DC character or like the origins of the 52 or whatever they call them?
Yeah.
If they were to do like a half-page, like 4-panel recap, and a half-page, like 2-panel sort of like, oh, here's a little origin of Spider-Man, or here's the origin of Mary Jane, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that could be really cool.
Yeah.
But reprint it every issue?
No, like, or even if like
something different in every issue.
Like if you open the first thing on like the back of the cover would maybe be like the characters in the book. So Spider-Man, who he is, Mary Jane, who is this, and then the first page would be the kind of recap maybe with a couple panels, like, you know. Not necessarily big, just a little
do
small.
you remember when Marvel, for about a year or two, all their books had a gatefold front cover, and the inside had the recap and character bios?
Yeah.
So these things have happened. I'd love to see them more often.
I think when you open up a comic book, I enjoy when you open up a comic, you have that recap page, that kind of, this is what happened last week on Smallville, this is what happened last week on Justified.
You can also, hold on, you can also have that page have the names of the creators. And you don't clutter up the
well,
main
and also
page
the credits for the what is it, the
Indicta, the small print,
the small print, fine print stuff at the bottom, because I mean, even doing when we do backstock and stuff, I have to flip to find that, and when it's not on that first page of recap or on the last page of, you know, like letters, it's kind of annoying to kind of try and go find that little thing when it should just be right there. Boom, done.
Well, we've apparently lost the letter columns from DC.
Yeah, I don't.
We're 6 months in and they've gone away, so I guess we've lost the letter columns. So if anyone at DC is listening for whatever reason, recap page. Recap page and another ad on the other side is fine. I don't care. Whatever you guys want to do. But a recap page and a character bio, or a recap page and here's a list of all the trade paperbacks for this series. On the you guys are so many options, and you really need these, because we're 5 months. We're about to be 6 months in to these new DC books, and I opened the first page of I want to say it was Green Lantern Corps number 5, and I was like, I do not remember what happened in the first 4 issues.
A lot of books, especially with issue 5 and 4, have been using telling you something that happened 24 hours in the future, and then you go back 24 hours and recaps. So it's kind of like we're going to show you what's going on, but then this whole story is recapping it to the point we just showed you.
Possibly.
I noticed a lot of different titles. A lot of different titles have used it in this new kind of relaunch, and it's jarring, like you said, when you don't know what's going on, and then, wait, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So, recap pages. I mean, I'm perfectly and utterly fine with recap pages.
Yeah.
I don't think it. The only time I think yes is if it cuts into an actual page count, because we're getting to the point where it's 20 pages. Of story. If it's cutting into those pages, then it's an issue. And if it's like the Avenging Spider-Man splash page credits to waste a page, then to me it's not worth it.
No.
So,
all right, I gotta actually.
You're going to try to do something you tried to explain to us, but good luck with
I got like 5 emails here, and it's possible these are all from different people, but I think the way they're laid out and the lack of certain capitalization, it seems like these may all be from the same person. So just on a whim, I'm going to go and read them all really quick, because they're all pretty short, and I'll answer them. since they're all pretty short answers.
It doesn't show who they're from.
It does, but 3 of the 5 are clearly joke names at fake email addresses, and the other 2 are the same. So it's possible these first 2 may actually be from one person, and the other 3 may be from another person, but I'm just going to go ahead and read them all.
Somebody's trying to have fun with us.
Possibly. So
like
let's make a
with.
dent on this list. First one is, hey guys, do you know anything about Marvel Zombies Supreme and Marvel Zombies Christmas Carol? I've read all the other Marvel Zombie books and enjoyed them, but these 2 look a little weird. I didn't even know about them until I was dicking around on Amazon. So basically just wondering if you know anything about them. Yes, they're terrible. Marvel Zombie Supreme is like Marvel Zombies number 9, volume 9 or whatever. That's part of the series. The Marvel Zombies Christmas Carol has nothing to do with Marvel Zombies. In fact, this has been something that retailers have been screaming at Marvel to take these books back and return them because it was promoted as a Marvel Zombies book, but it has nothing to do with Marvel Zombies. It's a Christmas Carol with zombies. It has nothing to do with Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, I've seen that book.
So ignore that.
Toby, have you read those? Neither have I.
Never cared.
Next question was then...
In fact, I was mad that they did all those covers where they zombified all the covers even on regular books.
I like those.
Oh,
you mean like the variant covers?
Yeah, on the regular books.
Yeah, those are dumb.
I was come on, man.
This person then asks, when is the Star Trek and Legion crossover comic any good? Yes. I like it. I actually really like it. It's a lot of fun.
I'm enjoying it. I
have nothing else to say.
I'm kind of glad it's a little slow because we're 4 issues in.
Yeah,
and it's kind of they've met, they've fought. Now they're trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
So it's 6 issues.
It's an ongoing.
I think so.
No, it's not. It's limited. DC wouldn't be crossing over that long.
That would be
with
awesome.
Somebody. All right. It's good. It's just I think the story progression is really slow. So issue 5 and 6.
Yeah,
see what's going on. But it's not bad.
I'm going to read this, but when we have Charlie back in the next week or 2, I will have him go in a longer form. The next question is, could you talk about a good starting place for the Tick? Yes, the complete Ben Unland Tick collection. After that, they've actually reprinted all the Tick stuff recently. It's all available for the first time ever.
That's definitely a Charlie question.
Yes, Charlie's
a
huge Tick fan.
He'll do a whole podcast on just the Tick alone.
So, I've read the complete Ben Unland, and Unland? I can never remember how to pronounce his last name.
I never read Tick. I know it was a TV show.
Yeah.
Cartoon and a live action.
But when Charlie comes in, I'm going to save that email and we can have him go on about this a little bit more.
Okay.
Is Bones better to buy in the 1-volume set or the individual books? There is no comic called Bones. I believe he's saying Bone. And if he's saying Bone, yes, buy the 1-volume set.
Well, I kind of like the individual ones.
Well, they have the color ones.
Yeah, those are the ones I really like. They did a really good job on the colors.
They'll release a full 1-volume
you think?
color. They will.
Yeah, but they did a really interesting thing because sometimes when you color black and white comics that weren't meant to be in color,
it looks bad.
It looks bad, but they use very soft colors on it, and it worked really, really well on the Bone
I like
looks.
the Bone color ones.
Yeah,
it's like Walking Dead. The Walking Dead's black and white, but they have the color covers, and the covers are always just really tastefully done because of the lighter color scheme.
So
I say for a pure price point, because you're going to spend $100 for the color ones, you're going to spend $30, $35 for the black and white
whole book,
one volume. Buy the 1 volume. Is Marvel Apes any good? No.
Well, I don't know. Some of your friends might disagree with you.
Marvel Apes included an entire arc about a ape speedball. I read one issue.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I was actually back into comic books when that came out, and you were like, wow, ape speedball, blah.
It's terrible. And here's one for you, Toby. Hey, you motherfuckers should talk about Darkwing Duck and DuckTales.
Yeah, I think so too, motherfuckers. Let's do that.
Yes.
Some Rescue Rangers and
how you
some Tailspin.
How you liking those formerly Boom Darkwing Duck and DuckTales
They
comics?
were fun.
Yeah.
I liked them quite a bit. Darkwing Duck was cool because it's kind of a sequel.
Yeah, now this is Boom Studios released all the Disney Afternoon comics, but since Boom's now lost a license, they're going back to Marvel.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Marvel will fuck it up and destroy it. But for a while,
it was really good.
Boom was publishing some really good stuff.
They were even doing some Muppets, Jim Henson stuff.
I read a little bit of the Darkwing Duck, but I barely remember the TV show. So you can fill me in if you remember it better than I do.
Well, actually, that's a Charlie one. Charlie is the big Darkwing Duck guy. I was more into the DuckTales and the Rescue Rangers and.
You know what's funny is last night I was hanging out with some friends who are non-comic book people, and we actually got onto the fact of old cartoons we used to watch as kids, and Darkwing Duck came up, Tailspin came up, Chip and
Dale and DuckTales and Gummy Bears were definitely my three.
All that stuff came up, and it's
those
funny
were good cartoons.
Tailspin was later. I
didn't get into that one.
No,
I think I picked it up because of the whole nostalgic reasons. But my favorites definitely were Gummy Bears, DuckTales, and Chip and Dale.
By the time you hit like Tailspin and Tasmania, that was later. Like I was out of him I was not into that stuff by that point. But Darkwing Duck and DuckTales was like right at the very end for me when I was really into that.
Well,
Saturday
Darkwing Duck had
cartoon.
the crossover because the pilot went over to Darkwing Duck. So
Launchpad, Launchpad and McQuack.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is I looked up a lot of these on Amazon last night while we were talking about it, and you can get them for fairly cheap.
Yeah, but not complete.
Not complete?
They never got released completely.
So it's only like half of the show.
I think all of them are missing one more set, which is the nail in the coffin right there. It's I think DuckTales has 3 volumes out.
Yeah.
And I think the amount of episodes are missing is just one more volume. Same thing with Rescue Rangers. There's one more volume to cut. I'm not sure about Tailspin. I'm not entirely sure about Gummy Bears. I just know for a fact.
Gummy Bears, I think, is complete.
Is it complete? Yeah, but I knew for a fact that they didn't finish the DuckTales one. And DuckTales the movie is only available through the Disney Rewards Club. That's the only way to legally get it, or unless you get it second hand off the secondary market. Yeah.
What about the comics?
Comics are great. I like them. Yeah, no, they were great.
Do you think Marvel will actually put those back to print?
I probably think they will. They probably also will reprint a lot of the European ones because that's kind of what some of the Boom stuff started reprinting some of the European stuff too.
A lot of the Disney, the like the Scrooge and the Donald Duck, they reprinted a lot of the European ones.
Yeah, but I like the new ones though. The new ones that they did now, those were good books. Yeah, I really enjoyed them, and it's just a bummer that that Marvel took that back. I mean, I could see why. It's not Marvel. It's Disney telling, we have a comic book division now. Why the hell are we licensing it out at this point?
You knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, but it's just a bummer because they're obviously put their heart and soul into it. They did a lot of good work with the properties, and it's just sad to see that go.
Well, it's funny that
I did not like the trades, though.
I thought you liked those.
I liked the trades. However, the end of the trades were like previews of all their other books. I didn't enjoy that. Because if I have a trade, I want the collection of the book. I don't want half of it to be the collection of the book and the other half be like all preview stuff, all the other stuff.
Explain? I don't know what this is.
So when you have to trade like DuckTales, it's like, 4 or 5 issues, 6 issues, whatever, right? It's in there. And then you have preview issues of Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck. There's like 3 or 4 of them different in there, and they're like take up almost like a third of the trade itself.
Well, those trades are really small in the first place.
They're in there. That's even if it's a couple pages.
Grab one of those trades because these trades are the trade paperbacks that Boom did. I thought they may have only reprinted 3 or 4 issues. If there's 20, 30 pages of reprint stuff in there, that's insane. Because there's no way that's ridiculous if that's the case.
I'm not sure about the Darkwing Duck, but I'm holding the Donald Duck Double Duck, which is kind of seems like the ones I had. So this much right here I'm showing to you is the comic book, and I'm guessing this is cover gallery, and then this one doesn't have it, but the one I have, all of this were preview pages of like other comics. That's quite a bit.
You're looking at about 18, 20 pages
of
worth of previews.
Yeah,
that's another issue.
Yeah, so I'm like, I didn't like it that it was in the trade.
Yeah.
I just didn't like. I don't know. Is it in that?
No, it's the same thing. It's
right,
$15 for 4 issues, and then the cover gallery from all the variant covers of those 4 issues.
Cover galleries are cool. I'm okay with that, but
then there's original sketches, original origin or drawing. And then just
Toby, I hope you're going to put those all back where they belong.
Nope.
Toby just grabbed a giant stack of trades off our kid's shelf. But
so this is similar. So this is still like extra stuff. So the comic till this point, this is all a cover gallery and behind the scenes stuff, which is cool. I actually like that. And give me the covers. That's awesome. But this is kind of similar. These are like preview issues.
Okay, there you go. I see.
Preview. There's like 3 different previews, 4 different previews. Yeah. I'm like, come on, this 4-issue trade could be 6 issues if they took all this bonus crap out of the back and all the preview look at this.
Stuff.
This is all previews. This is the comic book. Preview. You got 4 different books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ads.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I never noticed that before.
Yeah, so didn't like any of this. But the book were cool. But again, see, story's still here, and then preview.
You're looking like 30 pages of previews and ads in that one. Which one was that?
And
there?
that's every
Hero Squad Ultra Heroes.
Okay, yeah, it's like the Disney superhero Mickey Mouse book. So
yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's hopefully Marvel doesn't reprint that because that's kind of a pain.
Yeah,
but,
I mean they were cool trades as long as they didn't have all these ads in the back.
This one that you looked at, the Hero Squad, this is Volume 3. So you're getting previews in Volume 3 of stuff when you probably have already seen half that stuff in Volume 2 and 1.
No, it's previews other books they're putting out.
Yeah, but you probably already saw those same previews in the first couple volumes.
Yeah, it's quite possible, yeah. It was kind of odd that they did that and kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
All right. Well, we're going to move off from emails here and on to a couple news stories worth talking about. We'll do a couple picks, and then I'm off for sushi. So let's get this over with.
Dude, you're already off for sushi.
Oh, man. I'll be craving sushi all week. I don't know what the deal is. All right. So we got a few news stories here worth talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see. One, DC Comics launches WeCanBeHeroes.org. This is a charity that DC and Warner Brothers launched using the Justice League as sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? The Justice League is sort of the Justice League is just the picture that they're using, and it's to aid the hunger crisis in the Horn of Africa region. Mm-hmm. So for every dollar donated, DC and Warner Brothers will match penny for penny for every dollar.
Well,
every
DC,
penny you donate.
Is it DC
match.
that's matching or Warner Brothers?
DC is Warner Brothers.
So are they matching $1 or $2?
They are matching whatever you put in.
So
if you donate $50, they will donate. They will match $50.
So it's just $50. It's not $100.
If you give them $50, they will
DC
also
will give
throw in
$50.
$50.
Okay, but what about Warner Brothers?
$100.
Stop talking. They're the same company.
They're
not.
Yeah, but the way you worded it, it sounds like they're both going to give equal amounts. So DC's giving $50 and Warner Brothers is giving $50.
No.
Okay, I'm just clarifying.
DC/Warner will.
There you go.
Will
match
your donation.
Have you
for
donated?
The hunger crisis in the Horn of Africa region? No, I have not. But I will look at the site and I will see what the donations are. And if you are flush with cash and you wish to donate to the Horn of Africa region, and Superman can fly down there. And
I watched their little blurb video on it. Wasn't bad.
Can throw a banana at these people.
Throw a banana at these people?
You ever see, what the heck is that? There was this great Bill Hicks comedian where they're like, instead of Bill Hicks, great comedian, there's this great bit that he does where it's like, instead of feeding, instead of making all this money to make rockets, why don't you just shoot, why don't you shoot food at people instead, instead of blowing people up, there's hungry people over there. I don't know. You have to hear it. It's funny.
Actually, it would be funny because if you just shot food,
you'd probably kill them anyway.
That was addictive, and they ate it, they would just become obese and lethargic. Oh wait, isn't that America?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. All right, moving on from
there.
There was a big comic convention in France that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. But actually, this weekend, hopefully my girlfriend, who has taken French and went to France and will smack me for butchering this, but Angoulême? I'm not even going to pronounce it. Okay. Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo will be making a new graphic novel for DC Comics, a la Joker and Lex Luthor. And,
Sweet.
Batman Noel, but Brian Azzarello didn't write that.
He didn't?
No, it was just Lee Bermejo wrote and drew it.
Yeah.
Wrote and drew it. But, yeah, that Joker and Lex Luthor hardcover, those are some of my favorite graphic novels from DC. Original graphic novels. DC's kind of getting back into the graphic novel thing the last year or two. They've started to release a few more of them. There was that Sam Keith has actually released a couple Batman ones the last few years. And I think you're going to see Lee Bermejo let's probably keep working on these graphic novels instead of cover art or interior art for regular books.
No, he's an excellent artist.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, those books are
I think it's nice
amazing.
that we get that straight to graphic novel book where it's here's a whole story instead of spreading
absolutely.
it out, because we're getting, it's a little late in coming, but we're getting the Batman Earth one.
Yeah, but that's still gonna the Batman Earth one and the Superman Earth one.
Well, suppose we're getting Earth 1,
2. Yeah. It was J. Michael Straczynski.
Is that the Superboy that I keep calling Superboy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's J. Michael Straczynski.
That one's okay.
And
Shane
Shane
Davis.
Davis.
But it was good for J. Michael Straczynski to do a whole book at once
Yeah.
rather than start something really good and then disappears on it.
Right.
But that book, I thought it was going to be a little better, though. I enjoyed it, but I thought it was going to be more.
It started out really well. I think it was the ending that was a little, like, people were like, okay.
Yeah, the book was just kind of okay for its hype because it was actually sold out pretty fast. Remember, Ryan? It was like, it was gone.
Yeah. And I think if they do another volume, it'll still sell well. The Batman one is Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, and that should be huge.
Wow. Yeah.
It's scheduled release date for July 10th, so let's hope it actually hits that date.
Cool.
And I'd love to see one of these a year by those creative teams, or at least one every other year. Or Batman one year, Superman the next year, then Batman the next year, then Superman the next year. I mean, I think that's a good flow. You give these guys some time to work on these books. And if you put that in with Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, doing the villain book, kind of maybe do that in between them.
Excellent artist.
Good series of books for these guys. It's funny. I think it's actually launching this week or next week. It's pretty soon. Marvel's Season 1 graphic novels.
Yeah, season...
Yeah. And they're like they're graphic novel retellings of the origins. This is aimed for the Disney store market, not the comic store specifically. But it's weird seeing DC throw Jeff Johns and Brian Azzarello and J. Michael Straczynski and these big creative teams on these books. And then Marvel, nothing against the creators and the books, but they're kind of... They're
like up-and-comers, there's new guys.
There's no names, quote unquote, that the comic
definitely,
industry would know. But maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, it looks like... I don't know for sure, but I looked at some of the pages, and they look pretty good to me. I know you guys are not looking forward to it, but some of the pages actually impressed me. But
so
they're not aimed at us.
Don't know. Don't know until I see it. So.
Well, maybe it's written by a couple of the writers from Lost.
What? Yeah, they're not. No. I would know. If they were written by the last guys.
Yeah.
No, they're just not aimed at comic stores. They're aimed at a direct market, or they're aimed at a
Disney
bigger
store market, Barnes and Noble market.
Yeah,
even a digital market on some level.
But then you think about it.
It makes sense though. How many times during Christmas times do we have parents coming in, going, "My son just got into Spider-Man."
Yeah.
What book do you recommend me? Up till now, it's like Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It would be nice to go, this is the origin story, this is how it starts, and then you could springboard to other books.
Ages, yeah.
And maybe they have a little guide in the back going, once you read this, these are maybe the ones you want to get into next.
Yeah.
You start here, and these may be the ones you want to, go into.
In a similar fashion, Dan Slott is doing a Ultimate Spider-Man animated series comic.
Okay.
And I think it's Chris Yost is doing the X-Men Earth's Mightiest Heroes comic. And that seems cool because I'm interested to see what happens because we've had a lot of success with the DC's all-ages comics based on the animated properties. They seem to sell well. Marvel's all-ages books have never worked.
It's because they're all over the board.
And they're kind of... I'm sure people tell me they're good, but this is the discussion I ended up having with Dan Slott of all people on Twitter and a few customers and a few other friends. The assumption among comic fans is that they don't count, so they're not going to buy them. The kids, I guess, since they're not based on the animated series, maybe they're not looking at something they're familiar with, so they're not going to buy them. So I'm real interested to see how these books do. I plan to order more than I would of the Marvel kids stuff, but not as much as I would of, let's say, a new Spider-Man title. But this may be a good market to get people in.
I am really looking forward to that new Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah.
Even though they did a really good job on Spectacular Spider-Man, which is a fantastic show, and Cheeks did really good designs on him.
Yeah.
It's just too bad the rights thing happened and they reverted and stuff like that.
This weird stuff. You know what? The Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon I thought was decent.
I thought it was really good.
I didn't like the attempt at modernizing the villains and a lot of the looks. A lot of them just didn't work for me. But I have the same complaints with the Ultimate Universe as well.
Okay.
I think it works for certain characters like Captain America. I think they nailed the remake of Captain America in the Ultimate books. And I get you want to kind of make it a little more realistic, but I don't know. I just felt... do you know what I mean?
Oh, well, I don't know. I kind of... Well... after seeing the old 90s Spider-Man,
Sure, that's straight out of the comic.
which is cool. You know, it's kind of like why we like the old 90s X-Men too.
Yeah.
But after that, I kind of liked a more stylized, a more cartoonish Spider-Man. I did enjoy the fact that it was a little more stylized, a little more this, and the stories were really good, and characters were really solid.
I'm okay with that. I think I understand, to make it a little more like the Ultimate Spider-Man books and the Ultimate books.
Which is where they're heading now. I mean, that's why they're doing the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Right, to make it a little more realistic. But I don't know. A lot of the costume redesigns just didn't work for me.
Like Hawkeye didn't work?
Like in the Ultimates? Or I like Ultimate Hawkeye. I think he's okay. He's got a cool look.
Work, though?
For the Ultimates or for the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon?
Ultimates.
We were talking about Spectacular.
I was talking about
this is going to something else. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, they both have similar problems. Spider-Man, I don't like the way they redesigned a lot of the villains in Ultimate Spider-Man either. Just some of it. It's hard because the kind of over-the-topness of superhero and supervillain designs in the costumes is an acceptance in the main books.
Yeah.
When you try to make it a little more realistic, it usually works for me in the movies. But for the animated style, I almost think they can go a little more crazy with it.
Yeah, but like the Vulture was the Vulture. Was a Shocker was Shocker. I mean, who was the one that kind of? I mean, Rhino looked like Rhino. I mean, who was the one that kind of?
It's been a while.
Octopus is Octopus, very obviously.
I only watched them like once through, so I don't really remember. But I'll have to go back and look. But I remember not liking some of the villain designs. That's the thing that stands out in my mind. So I'll go back and see if I can figure out which ones.
All right.
I didn't care for. But yeah, that's it. You ever watch that, Brock? The Spectacular Spider-Man?
I never really watched the only cartoons I ever got into was the X-Men animated back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I didn't even watch all of those.
You've seen like Justice League Unlimited and
those were awesome.
No.
Oh my god.
I didn't even
those
see
were great.
I never watched Super Friends or the old Aquaman or the old Spider-Man. Like I never watched any of those old cartoons. And
I mean, I saw them, but I saw them when I was older. So
well, and I'm starting to go back and get those. I picked up I told you I picked up the.
Never saw like Batman the Animated Series.
Dude, that's
I saw the Batman
stuff,
animated series. That stuff was good.
Okay.
I enjoyed that stuff, like the Mask of the
very
Phantasm
Phantasm.
Phantasm. Yeah. And then I saw a couple of the movies, but I don't really remember them. But yeah, I never got into...
The movie's not even that strong, man. The series is so much better than the movies.
The Batman Beyond movie is the best.
Yeah, that one is solid.
That's the best.
Yep. Yeah, but some of the others the series I like better. I did like the World's Finest. I really, really like the World's Finest story they did. That was fantastic.
I think if taking Justice League Unlimited out of taking the whole Justice League show out of the equation, because that's so many of those episodes are so good.
Yeah,
the World's Finest 2-part, which is the Superman Batman.
It blew my mind when I saw that. That was so
Superman,
cool.
Batman, Joker, Lex Luthor team up.
Yeah,
it was a 2-part crossover between the two shows.
But they didn't know who they were. Like Superman would peek under Batman's mask to see who it is, and then Batman would go and figure out who's Superman. That was like genius. I was like, I really like that
scene. Is one of my favorite scenes in any of the animated series.
Absolutely,
Superman just looks under his mask, and he's like, "Oh, I'm Bruce Wayne."
Yeah,
and then Superman is like, "What's that?" And he looks like across the whole city, and he sees Batman like perched up on a tower, looking
smiling at him too. I was like, "I got you too."
Yeah. So within 5 seconds, they both know who the other person is.
Yeah,
really
that was
good.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I actually have the Batman animated series, the complete series, on my Amazon wish list because that thing is expensive.
Yeah. Well, like the new, or is it out of the big box set's out of print?
Yeah.
So there may be like a new one coming. I hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But I never really watched the cartoons, and since I didn't really have cable, I don't watch Cartoon Network, and so I haven't seen Justice League Unlimited. I've seen a couple of the Marvel animated films that they've done, like Iron Man.
That was like
most of the Marvel and what's funny. Yeah. DC, with the exception of the Death of Superman one, I think have all been solid to fantastic of all the ones they've done in the last few years.
And shorts were really good too.
Yeah, the Marvel ones though just. On the whole, we're all pretty awful.
I just recently watched that Catwoman one. I was blown away by it. I know that's getting a lot of grief because it's overly sexual, but the way she moves, there's a lot of thought behind it, and it makes perfect sense. That the way she would move like that, and the power she has in her legs.
Is this the short with the year one?
Yeah, that one I was really blown away by it, and I know a lot of people have a lot of beef with it because she shows a lot of skin in that one, but whatever. But the way she moves, the way she fought in there, I was like, okay. is kind of how I see Catwoman fighting. So
Right.
that was really cool.
But I mean, I guess it's not fair to compare the Marvel and DC stuff because Marvel, for the most part, has had to farm this stuff out to all sorts of random companies. DC has had the creative power of Warner Brothers, the largest, and the largest or second largest animation company in the world.
And there's some good stuff. I think the Iron Man I enjoyed.
Yeah, I like
Doctor
the Iron
Strange
Man.
is all right.
Doctor Strange was good.
Yeah,
I like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but the rest of them I was like,
The
nah.
Ultimates was okay. It's the Ultimate Kid one. I couldn't even.
I
watched
I think
watched
everybody.
The trailer, that's
I think
about
most
it.
people were gone after, or even before that one. They saw the trailer, were like, "All right, I'm done."
I picked up the first Iron Man, Doctor Strange.
The Ultimates.
Was there like the Wolverine Hulk? I heard it was pretty decent, but I didn't see it.
I didn't. Watch
Oh, but
Wolverine
isn't
Hulk.
that two of them? It was Wolverine versus Thor and Wolverine versus Hulk. I thought it was
Maybe.
two of them. Yeah, I saw
There's
parts
Planet
of that.
Hulk, which my brother said was and then
What my point was, now that they have Disney, I think
Hopefully, yeah.
I've actually enjoyed. And I got some crap.
Maybe
for
they'll
this.
remap it. Yeah.
Well, I got some crap for this, but I actually do enjoy Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I think the new Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon should be really solid.
I think so,
going
too.
forward, I think they're going to have a lot of good stuff.
Since we're on cartoons, Thundercats is in trouble.
You were telling me
UK
this the
one?
other day.
Yeah, the new one. The new
the
one.
one in the UK.
What do you mean UK?
Isn't there one over in the United Kingdom?
It's just, I mean, it's
It's
Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it's
It's-
American. And
It's Studio 4 Degrees Celsius,
and
right?
they hired. I think they're Koreans or something.
It's an anime company. It's a Japanese.
Oh, it's Japanese.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they're in trouble. So anybody out there that enjoys the cartoon, To the Grapevine, I hear that it's probably going to be done after the season. So unless there's toys, and believe it or not, a lot of these cartoons are actually garnered by toy sales than anything else.
I think that's common knowledge these days.
Yeah. So if you like it and we're thinking about buying some toys, go ahead and do it. I know they're really ugly. They're not very good toys. And there's a reason why they're not selling. But just to put it out there that, the show is a little bit of trouble.
Hey, maybe you'll know this.
Great cartoon, though.
Is Bandai doing the toys?
Yeah.
Didn't Bandai do the Dragon Ball Z toys?
I don't know, but they were They were all bad. But it's really bizarre
But they
because
sold like crazy.
I collect a lot of the Bandai toys out of Japan, but none of the Bandai toys out of America. They're all like garbage.
I remember when Dragon Ball came out. The series was such a huge success.
Yeah.
But I think the toy sales were so. I could be totally wrong about this.
Yeah.
I didn't buy them, but I remember. You would think cartoons are successful based on the sale of a toy. This is common knowledge, I think, at this point. I remember hearing those toys sold through the roof despite being awful.
Really?
But it was literally, there was nothing
But then
else you could buy.
I think those were kids to buy. Those were. It is kids are. I don't
Right.
know. It's weird. We're in a weird market because we see a lot of grown-ups buy toys here.
Well, that's probably the last, towards the very end of kids buying toys.
Yeah.
I think so much of the modern toy market is based around an adult audience because, the new DC and Marvel toys are clocking in at $22.99 retail.
Yeah.
Maddie Collector has all the subscription stuff,
Yeah.
which is a couple $100 for a year's worth. You're just not getting, I think, a lot of kid sales on these on these toys.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do for some stuff, but not the kind of.
Especially those. The DC universe. They've got a bunch of obscure characters. They're aimed at comic book readers.
Right.
Yeah. Some of them never know.
No kid's gonna buy Geoforce. Come on, that was for me.
All right, I got one more interesting story here to talk about real quick. There's been so much talk about digital not really being. Or digital being the future. We even talked about trades kind of disappearing, maybe a little bit going away. There's obviously been a lot of talk about webcomics. There's a webcomic called Order of the Stick, which I don't know if we talked earlier. I don't think either of you are familiar with. I've read it a little bit. It's pretty funny. It's kind of like a kiddie, and I don't want to say kiddie. It's a very sort of minimalistic animation style, little stick figures, but it's like a role playing game, D&D. World of Warcraft kind of parody. Parodies a lot of D&D stuff.
So it's the sketchbook for Knights of the Dinner Table?
Sure. In fact, actually, I think the artwork in this is better than Knights of the Dinner Table. Wow. I love Knights of the Dinner Table just uses like the same clip art. This actually is hand drawn, even though it's computer drawn, but even though it is just like kind of stick figure looking stuff.
They couldn't even hand draw the stick figures. That's how lazy they are.
Everything's on the computer these days.
Fucking lazy
anyway,
sons of bitches.
funny, pretty funny strip. Most of these books have been out of print for a long time, even though it's a free comic.
How long has this comic book been around?
6-7 years or so.
Okay.
So you could go on and read them all online for free, right? But this is like when the Penny Arcade print comics came out, they sold a huge amount because there's always going to be a demand for some fans to buy these things in print. I've actually tried to stock these Order of the Stick books here, and we just normally can't get them because so many have been out of print or the distributor doesn't carry them. Well, they've gone to a Kickstarter to reprint. At first, it was just one book. You could basically buy the book through the Kickstarter. If they make enough money, they'll print them, and all this stuff. And they'll give you, with Kickstarter, you throw in all these extras, so there's this cool stuff to it. Well, they started on January 22nd. And as of today, they've raised $235,000 on Kickstarter.
Awesome.
That's great. To reprint these books.
That's great. No, it's great to hear stuff like that.
They have people that have donated $5,000 level amounts in order to get
to help them.
stuff.
I mean, hey, you got all this entertainment for free, so how many years? I mean, it's only right.
Sure.
It's only right.
Sure.
Well, and if these people enjoy it that much and they have the ability to distribute to comic book stores and give comic book stores the ability to order like you want to try and keep them in stock.
Well, I mean, this is kind of showing that, there is first of all, still a demand for print.
Yes.
That even this webcomic that probably hasn't sold a lot in comic stores, but there is obviously demand from their customer base. Mm-hmm. Two, this is, I don't know what the age group of this is, but I've definitely seen a bit of a younger audience for this book than I have, and I'm sure there's still plenty of older fans that like Order of the Stick, but I have seen a lot of younger people comment on this comic series. It's probably because it's free, because it's a webcomic. So it's just hitting a different demographic. This Kickstarter thing is getting bigger and bigger where people are able to sell direct to customers through Kickstarter to fund these things, taking away the need of the stores.
It's picking up. We had the girl book that came out it didn't come out, but they did the Kickstarter a while ago.
Womanthology.
Yeah, Womanthology. That was huge.
IDW is going to put that out. That comes out pretty soon.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like that going on.
I would love to see, but I mean, I'm hoping obviously they can sort of bypass the store, bypass the distributor, bypass major companies.
For them. I mean, more money for them. This is great. This is great stuff, actually.
But I hope, obviously, as a store owner, I would love to see them also take these and get the book back in the print for retail sales as well. But I mean, obviously, you're not going to get too many of these of this level. But obviously, the audience is there for these books.
Yeah, I mean, this just proves. I mean, well, the thing is, their book has already been out. There's a lot of people that try and put new books out and get it funded before it's even out.
Right.
The thing is, quality sells.
Right.
Proven quality sold,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
These guys have proven they got quality stuff out there. You could read it for free. They got a fan base. They got something going for themselves.
Right.
This is great to hear that they can do something like that. Other guys, if you want to do a new book, you know what? You got to get your following first.
Right.
It's all about, in the end, it's always quality. I mean, this is why the Disney movies keeps on selling. I mean, years after years, I mean, how many times are they going to re-release some of these Disney classics and kids love them?
Right.
Quality. And same as the Marvel and DC books.
Right.
How many times are we reselling the classics? Are we selling over and over quality books?
Well, it'll be interesting to see, I could picture DC going, hey, Suicide Squad fans, you want Volume 2? Buy it on a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Money up front. We take the money. I mean, obviously, they could do something different.
This is just going to pay to print.
This is the pay to print model, but it'll be a higher price. It'll be something that they can say, hey, look, there is a fan base for this. We can do limited print runs. And I think this is, as print becomes
more on demand,
less important as the only method, because we now have digital as a solid method for distribution if they want it. It'll be real interesting to see if Marvel and DC, Image, Dark Horse, if the big, maybe even Viz, Tokyo Pop, if they come back, all these, anime companies and Marvel, big comic companies, if they can take this pay, like the Warner Archives, this sort of pay on demand for niche products to get them available in a physical medium. I wonder if this is something we'll start to see more and more of.
Well, you talked about them being successful enough with this Order of the Sticks to actually hopefully get these books available to retailers.
Right.
With Kickstarter. It's one of those things where, Marvel and DC, they're putting out majority of every title that comes out in a trade right after the single issues are done. Marvel's notorious for constantly pumping out trade paperbacks that you don't order every month because you know you're not going to be able to sell them. Sure. Because you can't be like, okay, I know there's going to be one guy that's going to buy this, and if you do, you order it for that guy specifically, and it's done. He buys it, but otherwise,
yeah. I mean, a lot of trade sales are on special order,
but it's one of those things where it's again, like you said, with the Suicide Squad fans, but with a company like Marvel and DC, shouldn't they already have the ability to be like, do you guys want the Suicide Squad Volume 2? And we just tell them,
but. The bigger companies, they have to go through distribution. They have to, go through all the different channels.
Yeah, but they voted for toys.
That's different.
How is it different?
When they do that, that's always a very, like when they do like the DC Universe Classic voting, that's always like a one-time fan vote thing. Every company will do that from time to time.
It's probably rigged on top of it too.
Sure. No, I think I could see this print, just kind of pay on demand for print, to be something that we'll get more of down the road. And I would love to see some of these Kickstarter guys that go, hey, we want to get this, almost like a wholesale Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to get this back in the print so people can buy it direct from us through this type of method. But if stores want them, we'll give it to them at a wholesale discount, but you have to buy, like a tiered purchasing. I mean, basically, this is no different than how you buy from companies already.
Yeah.
But this is sort of putting the money
more public.
It's more public, but it's also putting the money first. Mm-hmm. And so the company can be like, we are guaranteed this amount of sales because we've already paid for it. Now, I don't know if a lot of stores are going to, well, I'll pay you $150 now for 10 copies, and then 30 days later, it's over. 30 days later, you get the money from Kickstarter. 3 months later, you get the book from the publisher. I mean, and that's the problem. Will stores pay
up front? No.
Will I pay up front?
No, because the thing is...
It depends. It depends on what it is.
Well, it depends on what it is, but it's also one of those things where you have to realize that, you come down to, it's been 6 months, and they're not putting the product out. It's there has to be a back door or an out for retailers. If the book's late, you have the choice to pull out.
Yeah.
But see, it's one of those things where it causes more problems, where I think if it's, it's something like...
I think the long term is, if things are successful selling direct on Kickstarter or selling more direct through these big one-time pushes, they could take some of the extra money to get the book back in print for, whether it's Amazon or whether it's brick and mortar retail, and get the books back in print, because something like Order the Stick is something I would love to carry in the store. But I think this sort of, like we were saying, this sort of print on demand, it'll be interesting to see if this happens more in the future.
It's kind of what Maddie is doing, though. Mattel with Maddie
with
Collector.
The toys, right?
It's totally. I mean, they're getting people to commit the whole year.
And DC Warner Archives.
Yeah,
I almost think, what if we could get a print on demand machine in retail stores? Something
that'd be cool.
Geez.
Well, no, I mean,
that'd be cool. I want my new Warriors.
These things exist, right?
Yeah. No, somebody has to service that. I don't.
These machines exist. I mean, you have these. I mean, they're ridiculous. It's like $100,000 or something like that. But can you imagine we had a machine in the back of the store? Now, I mean, these are obviously not available to consumers. This is something that
that'd be hilarious. But I can see myself like Ryan, 30 years from now. All he has is a tiny ass store with a machine, and he's sitting. He's just sitting in front of a machine. What do you want? Hold on.
Why not?
We're like genius employees. Oh, yeah, that's a good recommendation, man.
No, I don't think there's a job for us anymore at that point, Brock.
But no, I mean, but why not? I mean, this is something that I could see them doing for certain material. I mean, maybe not every store has their own.
It's a great idea.
It'd be cool.
It'd be cool to see it happen, but with the way companies think, I don't think that's going to happen for a very long time.
But every time, so basically, Marvel's got their database. And I go, okay, I need New Warriors Volume 1. I type it on the thing, click, send. It registers Marvel. Marvel goes, okay.
Mails it to you?
No, it's all digital, right?
All digital.
Marvel goes, okay. So Marvel's thing bounces back. All right, so you're going to sell us for $30. We're going to charge you $15. We'll invoice you in 30 days or whatever. It prints out.
The binds it too.
The book pops. I mean, this exists.
Yeah.
These printers exist today. I mean, these things are real. They're just extremely expensive. But like a commercial use only.
Yeah.
I think that's badass. It wouldn't be for everything, but it would be for certain things.
Just so you know, we got to work on names for these new comic book stores of the future. and I think Kinko's should be part of your name. Right? Comic copiers.
Comic pop copy.
Comic copiers. Pop copy.
All right, let's
wait. Back on this trade thing. DC, if you're listening to this, Rebels 5. Volume 5. Print the fucking thing so I can sell it to people. Why would you not finish that series?
Because it doesn't.
Because they're stupid.
They hate you.
Well, I can sell it if it's a whole volume. I could sell Rebels. I could be like, I recommend Rebels to people. But I can't. Why? Because they won't be able to finish it.
That's what single issues are for.
Well, speaking on printing and on-demand printing, for some of these artists out there or independent guys that do your own books, there is a local printer that's really good. It's called Kinets, and we'll try and put out the information on my Twitter account for it tonight or tomorrow or something. Pretty good guys. I mean, I have some of my artist friends. I use them to do like either art books or other independent like short story books and stuff like that. They're local here to do digital printing. So it's they can do low numbers and stuff like that. So I'll post a link on my Twitter tonight or tomorrow, and they're pretty good. And they're local to the Bay Area here at least.
But I wonder, if you want your full color designed work and all that stuff, then you get the actual print copy from the publisher, from the distributor. You want a copy with like a plain white cover with the name, sort of the way we do the comic binding stuff, but that the interior page is just scan to print, scan to print, scan to print, scan to print. Nothing fancy, but it exists.
It's basically just, it's printed on paper that's it's fine paper for reading. It's reading paper.
Right.
It's basically you're paying to read
should look into this.
A print copy.
That's a good idea. I think I should do this.
Yeah, well, just so you know, we're sitting here with you, so we get a percentage.
There might be a copyright thing too. I mean, some of these printers probably are bound by law to get, hey, this is copyrighted material. We can't just print this.
But, I mean, it's all part of the service and the cost and everything. I mean, this is all taken in. This is something legal. Something. I mean, but
you would start by getting these printers that are specific to doing comic books. Then you would go to the comic book distributors,
I got you,
or publishers, and say, we want to implement these in comic book stores, so you no longer have to rely on ordering, reordering, shipping, all this stuff. You can
be a little worried for Ryan, but
Well, no, because people would have to come in here.
Depends how they do it.
If they do
what
it
if
this
it's like
way,
the digital stuff? What if it's like
come into the store to get a physical copy?
Right now, the digital stuff, they're being nice to Ryan.
Right. No.
What if these stores? They're like DC puts these stores out. What if DC say goes to the mall and has a kiosk? They're cutting Ryan out.
I could.
Yeah, so
they could, but
but this is something you could add into the already, the monthly books are still out. I mean,
I'm just saying there's different scenarios this can go.
Yeah,
it could go very well, it could go really bad.
All right, let's stop talking about...
You know what we should do? We should make a comic book story about this.
Let's stop talking about
and
the future.
Print it ourselves.
Let's stop talking about the future.
The different possibilities.
And let's start talking about the past. And alternate realities. And I don't know what Brock's going to talk about.
You shut your...
So we got a couple comic picks this week. I'll start because I got the book right in front of me.
Yes, and you had this beautiful segue that you screwed up by saying something about me. So
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about Marvel and DC here, but as I've, there's plenty of independent books I like. And one of the books just came out recently. This book is actually not available through Diamond. There's a lot. We talk about print on demand and Kickstarter stuff. This isn't, but it's in the same sort of method where we're getting direct from the publisher. It's a book called Sacrifice by Sam Humphries and Dalton Rose.
Sam Humphries.
Our love is real.
He did the Fraggle Rock comics.
That's right.
Yep. This guy's kind of coming up. He did Our Love is Real,
which I just read this week, which is... I understand it was trying to make a point. I was confused as shit at what it was actually trying to talk about, but I know there was a point about sexuality in there.
Yeah.
But by the end, and it's not that it was bad, but at the end I didn't really care anymore.
Yeah.
But, hey, they both got some at the end, so that's cool.
Well, go Fraggle Rock.
Well, the first 2 issues of this book is out.
Oh, wait, that's not about Fraggle Rock, huh?
No, it's not about Fraggle Rock.
The first 2 issues of Sacrifice are out. I'm going to just read the back cover blurb here from Kieran Gillen, writer of Phonogram, Uncanny X-Men, Thor, and some...
wait, Phonogram? The guy who did also the other book from Image, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Phonogram, and he did...
what's the other one? I love the other one.
With all the Britpop covers.
I love that one.
Yeah,
what is it
you're
called?
You're killing me now. I can't remember.
I know, that one was solid. I love the art in it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Phonogram, and there was one more. I'm going to go to the shelf while you talk about this. I'm going to see if I could find it.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to read the back cover blurb here, and then I'll talk a little bit about the book. Back cover says, what happens when two of history's greatest death cults meet up? Aztecs versus Joy Division fans. You haven't an answer. You haven't even thought of such a thing. Humphries and Rose have. Listen. Toby's showing me a copy. Suburban Glamour is the other one.
Awesome book. I
Jamie,
really like
Jamie
this.
McKelvey's the artist, right?
Yeah. Did the other guy write it? I don't know. It's only his name on here, though.
Oh, is it?
Oh, it's just Jamie McKelvey.
Oh.
So
Well, that's the artist on Phonogram.
Yeah, so Phonogram was drew by him, and then this one is just the artist.
Oh, okay.
He writes it too, but I love this book right here.
Well, you can recommend it if you want. You can recommend it next week.
All right.
But this book, Sacrifice, is about a guy who happens to be a Joy Division fan, music band Joy Division, one of my favorite bands. Actually,
yes, and hopefully somebody got that Disney shirt.
Yeah, no. This is the thing that actually sold me on this book. It was like a book about a guy who likes Joy Division. Must buy this. Seriously, if you want me to buy a book, just tell me the guy's a big Smiths fan, even if they never. Well, no, Smiths specifically, I see mentioned in kind of the indie section a lot. I'll be like scanning through blah 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 blah. Oh wait, the guy. A man listens to the Smiths, and this is about his summer in between high school. Oh, I must read this book. So this guy is kind of It's unclear so far whether he is flashing back to Aztec times or if he is actually traveling there. It's seeming that he is kind of still in our time. But his father was would teach him about the Aztecs and sort of tell him stories. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the names of a lot of the Aztecs, the places and locations, because I can't pronounce my own name half the time.
Which one are you having difficulty?
Don't even try. But you know what? This book is pretty interesting. He basically goes back with modern knowledge of what happens to the Aztecs and is like, holy crap, I might have to save these people. So it's, but again, is he really there? Is he not? Is he just kind of delusional and dreaming this? We're not quite sure yet, but very interesting. Really pretty cool art, and I like, again, this is supporting directly to the creator. He's self-publishing this. Hard to find these issues. We got a couple copies left. I'm sure there'll be a trade. We'll stock the trade pretty heavily. These things have gone to press, back to press many times already. It's like Our Love Is Real, the first print goes for a couple $100. Very hard to find. We got the copy from Image. But yeah, if you want to check this book out, I highly recommend tracking down a copy or wait for the trade. Or you can actually pick it up on Comixology. It's not through our storefront, but you can buy it on there if you want.
You recommended it, so I read the first 2 issues.
I told you about it. I didn't recommend it to you. I don't know if this doesn't... Well...
You recommended it to me. You said you
may like it.
You said I might like it. You're like, but I don't know. You don't like Joy Division, so you're probably not going to like it.
It has nothing to do with Joy Division. They barely
Even though this beginning is Blood Will Tear Us Apart, Love Will Tear Us Apart.
No, I know. That's the name of this. Yes. That's the song.
Yes, I know. It's interesting. The artwork's kind of off-ball.
I like it. It's kind of got that animation style, but I like it.
Yeah. No, I've enjoyed it so far. It's definitely something that I'm probably going to finish out and trade.
Yeah.
Just get the whole collection of.
Well, it'll be interesting if they do a trade. I have no idea. It's self-published. Sometimes they don't do trades.
This is true.
We'll see.
This is true.
But
you're going to stock it, so...
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll probably just read a single issue. But, no, I've enjoyed it. It's pretty good.
Cool. All right, Toby, I think you got a book sitting in front of you. You want to...
Oh, yeah. So last week, the Avatar The Promise book came out, which is an original little graphic novel.
This is not the blue Avatar, but the animated...
The animated one, yeah. So I have said it...
Airbender.
Yeah, I have said it over and over that Avatar The Last Airbender is a fantastic cartoon. And for the longest time, I actually ignored it, thinking it was a straight bootleg wannabe American anime. But by accident, I watched one episode. I was totally drawn by it. It just totally glued. It almost has a Studio Ghibli feel to it, and it's written really, really well. And ever since I've been a hardcore fan, I bought all the DVD sets and so on. So earlier, they came out with this trade called The Lost Adventures, which is really interesting that you talk about the Dan Slott's Ultimate Spider-Man stuff. Now, what this trade did, it was they collected a lot of stuff from the Nickelodeon magazine, and the stories happen in between the episodes. So it's additional stories to the TV show, which is really cool because you don't really want to read the stuff that you already watched, right? So it's kind of cool to have a little more filler stuff in between the episodes. So some of the stories are really short. Some have no point to it. They're just funny. But this new one that just came out last week is called The Promise by Gene Yang. A really, really fantastic writer who wrote a lot of indie hits like American Born Chinese, Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah, Level Up, right?
Yeah, Level Up, yeah. Prime Baby, all like award-winning, Eisner-winning books. They're and especially if you're Asian American, these books you probably really should go and out and read.
Local guy too. I mean, SF Beta.
Yeah, he's a total local guy. He's from SF. But so I don't know how he got commissioned to write this, but I'm really happy that he is. And the book actually continues right where the cartoon finished. So it's almost like, the Buffy season 8 or season 9, whatever it is. It's
right.
similar to that feel where it continues, and it's really good. I mean, the characters evolve even more, and, there's some struggle that happen. I like the format. It reads like it's a little trade, and it reads really well, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the show, want to see where these characters continue.
And this is Dark Horse put this out, too.
Dark Horse puts it out. There is a cartoon sequel coming out later on called Legend of Korra, Avatar Legend of Korra, which will be about the daughter of Aang and Katara.
I assume this is a sequel to the Blockbuster movie. Is that correct?
No. The Blockbuster is horrible. That doesn't even exist in this world. It's like... No, go with that. But
better or worse than the Raul Julia Street Fighter movie? Worse.
Oh. They're in the same level, man. It is just bad. But anyways, so The Legend of Korra, it will be a sequel set like I think 100 years in the future, which is actually I saw pictures of it. It's really cool. It's the Avatar: The Last Airbender is more like fantasy-based, old style, and the characters are really cool because there's a lot of American stuff in there. There's different kinds of people, and you'll see the little subcultures. Really cool how they evolved and put that in the cartoon. But the new cartoon that supposedly is coming out, Legend of Korra, will have it in the future where there's like mechanical stuff, some steam stuff. It's almost like Full Metal Alchemist, kind of more that time. It's really cool that they would evolve it.
This is the Final Fantasy VII.
No, it's the Final Fantasy
Avatar.
1 to Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm really excited for new stuff. But until then, we got The Promise, which is a sequel to the cartoon show, and it's really, really well written.
Now, I think there's 3 of these books coming?
It's 3.
Right?
I think it's, the first one of 3. So,
yeah.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, Avatar is one of those, I gotta watch it. I've heard nothing but good things.
It is unbelievably good. Yeah, I even got one of my coworkers to watch it, who is older than us.
Yeah.
He's middle-aged guy. He brought it home, started watching it, and he got a lot of flack from his wife because he's watching a cartoon. And then of course he goes and tells her, no, I got this from another grown-up from work, and she's just like, what is going on? Yeah. But excellent story.
I've known a few people that they're like cartoon. Especially this one. If you look at, they're kids. Right.
You kind of like, why would a grown up watch it? But the stories were written so well. The characters are built so well. There's internal struggles. There's things to question. And it's really cool to see these characters move on. And there's there's episodic stories, and then there's the overlaying story per season, and it ends big every time. And it's
I just think the prejudice against cartoons is something bizarre. Only because. I mean, arguably some of the greatest movies of all time have been animated. When you talk of Disney and Miyazaki, and I just don't get that prejudice. But
it's weird, beautiful characters, beautiful drawn, beautiful design. Sure. Everything is just top notch in this cartoon, pure quality.
Nice. Brock, what you got? Sushi's calling. What do you got? I gotta go.
Sushi's calling.
I gotta go. I got like 15 minutes. Let's wrap this up.
You got 2 people that can close the store.
So, hey, do you want to talk about the Green Lantern movie?
Yeah, let's talk about how shitty that pile of crap is.
So when I'm late and my girlfriend's mad, I'll tell her you made me late. Okay.
That's fine.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Like we
Let's wrap it up.
All right, I have a question. Should I either do?
What's your pick?
Should I do an independent or should I do DC?
Do whatever you want. What's your pick? We're all indie-ish today. Do an indie book.
Okay.
What's your pick?
I would highly recommend the new Game of Thrones from
That's
Dynamite.
a book. That's a TV show. Oh, you're talking about the Dynamite.
The Dynamite comic book adaptation of the novel.
I've heard good things.
It's really good.
Art's really nice.
Yeah, the art's really nice. It flows really well. It sticks very well to what happens in the book as well. And from what I hear from a couple people, I haven't seen the show yet, but they say it's very close to how the show is as well.
Well, the show is, from what I heard, very close to the book.
Yeah,
I've also
from
the book.
You and I talking about it when you were watching and I was reading the book.
Yeah,
it seems like they're very close. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the Game of Thrones comic books that have been coming out from Dynamite.
Yeah,
I think the first trade will probably be available soon.
It's written by Daniel Abraham, and art by Tommy Patterson. I'm not familiar with either of those people, so there you go.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I enjoy it. It's definitely a good way for people to kind of get into either story, reading the book, or watching the film.
You read the first book?
I've read book 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay. You feel this is pretty accurate to the book?
Yeah, it's accurate to the book as well as it can be. There's a lot of stuff that you get out of a book that you don't get.
Sure.
Transferring to different mediums, but yeah, did a really, really good job. Art's really fun. And it separates stories just like the novel did, where we hear about what's going on with Bran, and then we see what's going on with Air, the dad.
No, well, sorry to interrupt you, but a quick note. I mean, this is not in like an all ages adaptation. I mean, there's been nudity and like extreme violence. I mean,
there's extreme violence in it. There's, I don't know, a blade going down to cut off the wolf's head.
The TV show has lots of nudity in it, and the comic looks like it has. I mean,
the comic has. It's not like.
It's not pornographic.
It's not pornographic.
But there's a lot of nudity in it.
Not really. I mean,
I flipped through them all. There's a lot of nudity in it.
There's a little bit, but not much.
We're not tarot level, but
it's not like you get a little boob shot here and a little butt shot, but you don't get like front male crotch or front.
There's a lot of
Brock is disappointed because he didn't get that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
that one.
There's a lot of full frontal in Game of Thrones. I'll tell you that.
That's why Brock likes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I watch Rome.
Yeah.
So, but no. Highly recommend it, especially if you're lazy and you don't want to read the book.
Nice. I am always lazy and never want to read anything.
Dude, when was the last novel you actually read?
Been a little while.
And what's sad is you haven't even read the Grant Morrison Super Gods
Yeah,
book.
I'll read that one of these days.
That's the other sad part.
I'll read it one of these days.
Even the ones that are like directly connected to comic books you haven't even read.
Correct.
Like Peter and Max.
Correct. All right.
Horrible.
We're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. If you like this episode and you want to listen to other episodes of The Comic Conspiracy for whatever reason, you can go to www.geekbox.net, where you can find this podcast, The Comic Conspiracy. Oh, wait, we are The Comic Conspiracy. The Geekbox.
The Geekbox,
and
the Comic
Comedy
Conspiracy,
button.
and the Comedy button.
There you go. You can go to forums.geekbox.net and talk to us on there on the forums. It's always fun. You can go to www.comicsconspiracy.biz. I'm actually going to start posting our weekly picks again, because I've been slacking and haven't done it for a while. But I'm going to start putting those up there. They're also on our Twitter.
Now, are those going to be official picks? Like you go and ask us, this is what we want?
Man.
Well, which picks? The ones we do here on the podcast, or the ones we do on the shelf?
Our weekly picks on the shelf. Wednesday, 11 a.m. Let me know your pick. If you don't let me know, I'm going to pick something I think you'll like by then. So it's as official as it gets.
So you need to clarify that this is a Ryan pick for somebody versus somebody's actual pick.
You guys all have your standard picks. If you don't, I always know what you guys want. So.
You're pretty much
right,
the same.
Yeah, I know what you
DMZ came out this week?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but...
Yeah. What was I going to say?
Move my pick a lot, though. Because you always sell out.
Yours jumps from character to artist to character. Like, if Black Cat's in it, we put yours on it.
Yeah, but that's me personally. I don't want to recommend something I like personally. I want to recommend something I really do think is good.
Yeah.
Black Cat could be a horrible book, and I'll buy it, but I don't want to recommend it. I'm just saying, it's my own fault. I like the character. I don't want to recommend it if it's a bad book. I want to put it on something good I truly think is good.
If you want to buy those books, you can... if you want to buy them digitally as well, you can go to digital.comicsconspiracy.biz and purchase digital comics there. And I actually should say, it's been a while since we mentioned this, we do mail order here at the store. I have a lot of mail order subscription, especially with the new 52 books. Every month we mail out a lot of books. We do. Toby's shaking his head, but
I have to do the orders or
dude,
the mail outs.
It's all about the Benjamins, man. I do this for the money.
It just sounded wrong when you said mail order.
Mail order.
You want a little bit of Brock, so send your orders into Ryan.
I will stab you.
If you wish to order comic books from us, you can always do that. We understand things like Amazon exist, but we like if you enjoy this free podcast we give out, it's kind of like this is your Kickstarter moment. You can give us some money too, and then we'll continue this podcast. But no, we always like to throw in free swag for every order, free shipping.
Well,
so
not every order.
Well, most orders. And with Free Comic Book Day coming up in May, we'll have a giant new stack of free comics to give away for all our mail order stuff. So should be some good stuff. We always throw in posters and 5 loose figures. We'll always find something something to throw in an order.
Piece of trash.
Especially first. Yeah, it's
Half-eaten sandwich from Brock.
Yeah, here's a chicken McNugget we found on the floor. Throw it in the order.
Chicken McNugget. Damn, I haven't had one of those in a while.
And feel free to visit the store, 115-A East Fremont Ave, Sunnyvale, California, 94087. Yeah, there you go. I'm on Twitter, Ryan Higgins Ryan. Toby's on Twitter, TobyXI. Brock's still not on Twitter. He's on the Google Plus, though. Him and 6 other people. So you can talk to Brock on there.
You can talk to me at the forums or at
you can also go to
conspiratorbrock.com.
Conspiratorbrock.com. Brock's...
Hey, I Googled myself the other day.
Hey, now.
Uh-oh.
And I some website... I said, we evaluate how much this website's worth. My website's worth like $300.
Just cash in, baby.
Cash in, man.
Cash in.
It's all about the Benjamins. I think that'll do an episode. So I'm going to go get some sushi,
That will
guys.
do an episode?
That'll do her. So
I got her done.
Yeah. So you guys are going to hear this Monday night, same as always. I'll put this up regular time. I will be back next week to record a new episode. This was episode 43. Yeah. Okay, we're done.
What the hell is wrong with you today?
Later, guys. Thank you.
Monday.